Bitcoin open source development. Is this the new battlefront? Or has this always been going on? This is kind of a weird one. I don't know how many people are actually talking about this, but I figured, you know what? We're Pleb Underground, and, we've got, quote unquote, two pretty big influencers, so to speak, in the Bitcoin space, and kind of strange, kind of strange rhetoric, going back and forth, or maybe that's not the right word. Maybe just this. It seems that we are all for Bitcoin, but for some reason there seems to be a bit of contention between how Bitcoin development gets done, how it's going to get done, and essentially, are we starting to see kind of these weird separate camps emerge? Anyways, I thought that Bitcoin Becca hit the nail on the head with this cover. Glad to see you back with the BT Weeklies. This is absolutely awesome. And yeah, so here we go. Odell versus Saylor, the showdown over devs. Sean, give Yellowback a speaker. Anyways, okay, let's dive into this whole thing, because I think it is controversial. I know that people have a hard time giving their opinions when it comes to influencers that they either like or support or whatnot. So you know what? Let's just go through this, and we'll try to take a look at this as objectively as possible. I mean, of course, I am also a human. I have my own opinions, and yeah, let's go through it. Now, I don't have Nostr installed on this desktop, okay? So unfortunately, we can't actually see that these are from Odell, but anyways, all the links are going to be in the comments. So in the show notes, so you can take a look. This was one of the first comments. I actually saw somebody had taken a screenshot of this out of the Damus app, which is a Nostr client, and it says one of the big ETFs was going to donate to open source devs. Saylor told them if they did, he would crush them. So they pulled out of the commitment. Now, again, as of right now, we don't have any official sources. So I'm reading to you what the comments were, and then obviously I'm going to give my take on all of this and what's going on. Okay, so what exactly was Odell referring to? So this is a tweet from Magoo, okay, and here you go. You can actually, you can see the screenshot here. So rumor mill, Saylor talked to ARK Invest, right, which is, essentially Cathie Wood, and they pulled out of supporting Bitcoin Core devs. Is this true? This is from Nostr. This is from Damus, okay? And essentially what it is Jack, okay, reposting Odell's original post, and so he's saying it's ARK Invest that backed out, and he's reposting Odell's original post, and his original post is they both committed to supporting devs. They are legit. The other ETFs did not support devs. One specifically was going to and pulled out after talking to Saylor. I don't feel comfortable mentioning which one, but it was incredibly disappointing. I tried to handle it privately. And it looks like this kind of sparked, like a whole kind of subtweeting, back and forth thing. So anyways, this is another tweet, another post from Odell. I don't want to be a Bitcoin influencer. I don't want to be on Saylor's yachts. You have no power over me. My focus is my family. We will live free. Another one is, this is not controversial. If people stopped simping and asked Saylor his opinion, he would encourage you to not support open source devs. He has actively killed deals to support devs. He is proud of it. He is wrong, and everyone is too afraid to say shit. In all fairness, I can't disagree with Odell on that point. I think that many people will just, and I myself, I've seen it in myself as well, right? When you like somebody, or you like what they're about, or they give you a good vibe or whatever it is, you're a little more hesitant to go against them. Now, especially Saylor, right? Like Michael Saylor's been stacking, for quite a while, and MicroStrategy has done a really good job of cheerleading for Bitcoin. So there's a lot of people that are going to sit there and be like, hey, wait a second, what have you done for Bitcoin? Obviously, they're not going to say that to Odell, because Odell runs, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe he started OpenSats. He also does the essentially the open platform for Bitcoin TV, where all Bitcoiners can upload all of their content there. No censorship, nothing like that. And of course, there's multiple other projects which I'm totally not mentioning. And he also has his fund, 1031 VC, which I understand, right? Can definitely be controversial depending on depending on the way that you're looking at it. But through this 1031 VC, he and others are funding Bitcoin development. So there's a bit of a gray area here in what we're seeing. Okay, so essentially, right, you're going to have people who like Michael Saylor better. You're going to have other people who like maybe Matt Odell better. Then you have other people that are just indifferent and understand that, hey, everybody is incentivized to do what's right for them. And then you're going to have people who are going to call everybody a spook, and that's it, right? Everybody's compromised. It doesn't matter. But look, somewhere in all of that confusion is the truth, right? Somewhere in all of this confusion is the truth. Anyways, let's continue. Let's continue on here. So one of the most recent posts from Matt was, "Good morning, Noster. Despite rampant speculation, I fail to see how I benefit from any of this bullshit. Just thought it should be public. Consider zapping devs who build shit you rely on. Rabbit hole recap will be tomorrow at 1800 UTC." And of course, I'm recording this. I'm recording this on Thursday, April 11th. So he's talking about tomorrow, Friday, April 12th. But look, he's not wrong. Like in this particular case, yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, look, if you want to donate to the devs, you can donate to the devs. You could also do it through opensats.org. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you could even do it through Geyser Fund. And then, you know what? Somebody else posted a comment on Twitter that said you can actually just reach out directly to a dev and donate to them if you want. So I don't really understand entirely what the end game is here between, the Saylor and Odell thing. But I think it's a lot bigger. I think it's a lot bigger than just than this. And I actually haven't seen Saylor really respond to any of this yet. Jack Mahler's also chimed in on this. Let's take a listen. Now, keep in mind, right? Matt Odell has a Bitcoin business, right? MicroStrategy as well is a Bitcoin rebranded business, right? They started off as Business Intelligence. I think in the past they were just they were doing databases. But anyways, they were Business Intelligence. On their website, they're still Business Intelligence. But if you go take a look on platforms like E-Trade, their company profile shows that they are a Bitcoin development company. So are we possibly looking at butting heads because maybe there's some underlying competition? Who knows? Anyways, let's take a look and see quickly what Jack had to say.
Yo! Out here on a run in Chicago, just checking my phone, getting caught up on everything, wanted to give my 2 sats. One, we got to find ways to support open source Bitcoin developers, period. I mean, Bitcoin's got to be one of the only truly distributed, censorship resistant, decentralized software networks we have as a species today. I'd make the argument it's the biggest. It's the only distributed, censorship-resistant software network that is operating at the scale it's operating. It's worth now over $1 trillion in market cap. It is open source Bitcoin contributors that support the software, that support the network, that maintain the libraries. In my decade-long history in Bitcoin, I've never heard that as a controversial take, opinion, idea, is that we have to find them no strings attached support. We don't want them supported with a bias, with a directive, with a motive. We want funding for open source contributors to build what they deem is necessary to support the project. Now, if someone builds something that you don't agree with or that you don't like, don't run it. Someone built Bitcoin Cash. I didn't update my node. Someone built Bitcoin Unlimited, Bitcoin XT, Bitcoin Gold. I didn't update my node. It's a permissionless system. People are going to build whatever they want, whenever they want, no matter what. If you don't like it, don't run the software. That's how Bitcoin works. Now, if you want developers and the network to adopt something that you're interested in and that you think the rest of the network would be interested in, then you advocate for it. You gather support for it, and we arrive at distributed consensus.
Okay. I obviously the link is going to be in the show notes for anybody who wants to watch the whole clip. I'm not going to play the whole 6 minutes, but clearly just, from the first 2 minutes, you understand Jack's take, right? And I think that a lot of us in the Bitcoin space can agree with his sentiment that the Bitcoin devs, the core devs, should be funded, no strings attached, right? They should not be at the mercy of somebody else's narratives where they have to push through possibly controversial feature sets in order to placate, Wall Street or something like that. Anyways, some more takes from other Bitcoiners. Now, this one I also saw on Reddit. I don't know if it's the same poster or not, or maybe it's just somebody who copied it, but here we go. One Sir Meow said, "You don't have to simp Saylor to like Bitcoin. It's not impossible that he becomes Roger Ver 2.0. Either you believe in Bitcoin's value on its own merits, or you just follow Saylor's endorsed coin, which could eventually change." People who have watched Pleb Underground content know that I am no fan of Saylor. I'm not a fanboy of anybody, really. I've never been like that. Even when I was a kid, I didn't really give a shit about Hollywood or superstars or musicians and stuff like that. Like, I get that they're super popular and I get that a lot of people like them and everything like that, but it's just a job, like this is, so they're doing a job. Anyways, yeah. So for me, the starstruckness just never hit me, right? It's all about the integrity of the person. And again, I'm not questioning integrity or anything like that when it comes to these people. I'm just saying that it should definitely not be, a popularity contest. We should not be worshiping heroes, okay, or anything like that, because that is what leads. That unfortunately is what leads into folly and very poor decision making. I like Ansel Lindner a lot. He's one of the first people that I've explained this before. His podcast, Bitcoin and Markets, was one of the first podcasts that I ever listened to, and he is great signal. Anyways, so this was his take on it. Who cares if Saylor or Odell are spooks? True. They both could be, and it wouldn't matter. Chill. They are susceptible to Bitcoin's incentives, just like everyone else. Indeed, that is correct. So, all right, let's dive into it. Okay, Bitcoin Saylor. That's a good one. Michael Saylor has MicroStrategy. He's rebranded MicroStrategy to a Bitcoin development company. Okay, now you've got Jack Dorsey, right, who is the CEO of Square, who just developed a hardware wallet. People may or may not know, but Square is 20% owned by Visa. For the people who have been living under a rock for the last 50 years, Visa owns approximately 60% of the world's payment networks. Okay, so that's interesting, right? So Jack has Square, okay, which actually owns Cash App, which Cash App sponsored Tales from the Crypt, or TFTC. Anyways, not saying that matters, not saying that means anything, just we have to be aware of information. We don't have to take a stance in it. We don't have to have an emotional tie to it, but it's good for us to know the information. Okay, so you could kind of see where Jack and Matt Odell would align, okay? And then you've got Michael Saylor on the other side, who, like I said, rebranded to a Bitcoin development company. Now, if you go take a look and actually see, it hasn't actually developed anything for Bitcoin in terms of nodes, in terms of miners, in terms of any of that stuff. Like, indeed, he has repurposed and created content, right? Bitcoin learning content. But there really is there's no coding there yet. So it gets kind of weird, right? Is it possible that there's at another level, there's a bit of headbutting that's going on, right? Where behind the scenes, somebody is trying to co-opt control of the Bitcoin development cycle or the Bitcoin developers, whereas a couple of other people are possibly trying to keep it in the hands of Bitcoiners, right? Could that be what's happening? The other thing is that, if MicroStrategy starts developing for Bitcoin, does that become competition to the companies that 1031 VC has invested in? And even for that matter, does that become competition to Square and Jack Dorsey? So I don't think it's cut and dry. I never do. I never think things are cut and dry, because that's just, to me, that's like a cop-out, right? It's super easy to just be like, okay, yeah, I picked this side, but it never is like that, because at any given time in someone's story, even in our story, right, we're we could be the villain, right? We could be the good guy, we could be the bad guy. Like this kind of oscillates, right? Like it oscillates. Like human beings, we're dualistic nature. So my whole point and my whole rant is, guys, we don't make heroes out of these people, okay? Don't make heroes out of these people. And in some cases, or probably in most cases, do your best. We should be doing our best to remove our emotions from these situations and just simply see how these situations are actually playing out. So, do you think Odell's a spook? Do you think Saylor's a spook? What about Dorsey, right? What about Jack Dorsey? Is Jack Dorsey a spook? What about Mahler's, right? Who's not a spook? Guys, let me know what you think. That does it for today. Catch you next week.